This is a quick follow-on to the previous video, PBP Hello World, that shows how to set this up and do it yourself. I'm just going to show the Mevent Flow within the system. Mevents are simply message payloads tagged with port numbers. Here's a reminder of what the final diagram looks like when done in Draw.io and compiled to running code as per the previous video. So there's 3 parts, hello world in the 1 and 2 part. There's an input gate and an output gate, and then there's arrows showing where Mevents will flow. So here we've got the same arrangement. I've taken out the arrows and just shown what we would do in code. So we would write closures for the 3 parts, and each closure gets 1 input queue and 1 output queue. And then the output gets an output queue, and the input doesn't need a queue because we process 1 Mevent at a time to completion. We start off by putting a Mevent into the input. That Mevent gets split off into two directions. One goes towards the hello part, another goes to the world part. I've tried to use colors to remind us where the Mevents are and where they're coming from. And here we're showing that the Mevents have queued up on the head of the 2 queues. So there's a yellow Mevent. We don't care what it is. It's the fact that it exists is queued up on the hello part, and a red Mevent is queued up on the head of the world part. Next, the system chooses one of these 2 parts to run. We'll choose the world part to run. So it runs it. It takes the first event off the queue, does something with it. In this case, it just generates the string world and shoves it on its own output at the head of its own output. Then the system routes the output to the receiver, in this case the 1 and 2 part, and then the system goes back and runs the hello part and does the same thing and routes its output to the receiver. As you can see, the receiver queue has a red Mevent in it, and then following that, it has a yellow Mevent in it. And the queue keeps the Mevents in order, so we know which came first and which came second. And in this case, the world string came first, and we want hello world to come out at this end. So the 1 and 2 part sets it aside and processes. The system looks at any component that has an input ready, processes it, and in this case it says, I got the one I wanted, it was tagged with the port 1, and it goes out to its output queue. And then the other Mevent gets shoved on the output queue in the correct order, and then the system routes the outputs to the receiver. In this case, it takes the yellow event off the head of the queue, sticks it onto the output queue, and then it takes the red Mevent and sticks it into the output queue, and now the output queue contains hello and world in the right order.